Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli, and welcome to my report on the Aquarius new moon, January 29th, 2025, and the days around this time. This new moon is supercharged with major planetary alignments, and even though we have a new moon in Aquarius every year or so, no moon is ever quite the same, and every moon is a chance for new experiences flavored by the planetary alignments that are occurring at the same time as the new moon. And have no doubt about it, this moon can absolutely change your life. So I'm going to go into all the details, and this is for all signs. Okay, so while new moons will occur monthly, each one carries its own unique energetic signature. And that has to do with the environment or the climate that it is occurring in. Okay, so every year around this time, the sun in Aquarius matches up with the moon in Aquarius in what's called a conjunction. That means they're absolutely together to the same degree, same minute in the sky. They're flavoring each other, they're amplifying each other's energy. But then we look at the climate that it's surrounded by, and we see all of these planets and all of these signs making different angles to one another. And those things are never the same from one new moon to another. So we have a very unique opportunity here. So I want to go into all the details as to why this new moon is extra special, why it has supercharged alignments, and how it can change your life. But I want to build up so that we start with the basics. Everything in life is a building process, and we are multidimensional beings having a multidimensional experience. So it's easier to comprehend the significance of the layers as we build up from the bottom. Okay, so let's start out with the simple stuff, and then we'll build into the more complex manifestations that you will see. So first thing, new moon is a new beginning. It's a chance to plant seeds, or a chance to start something new, or a chance for something to sprout from things that you've already done in the past. You can actively use this moon to plant these seeds, or sometimes literally you could be planting seeds inside your house, or if the weather is conducive, outside. This is a time where you may see some buds starting to bloom on some trees, and you get this feeling like, okay, something's ready to burst out. Now with the energy of Aquarius, we've got community, the group, the greater good. We've got friendships and your tribe and your place within a group and that feeling of belonging. So seeds may be planting for those types of things. This also rules social interactions, whether it's a meeting or a team that you're on, or a large organization that you're involved with, or your internet presence, social media, networking. All of these things have extra energy now, not just from the new moon in Aquarius, but also because Ceres, part of fortune, the moon and the sun, Mercury and Pluto are all in Aquarius. So all of these Aquarian energies are really supercharged by the presence of so many short-term transits that are aligning at this time, and also the entrance of Pluto into Aquarius, where it will be for around 20 years. This moon in Aquarius has Plutonian power. So all of these things are making this moon extra special. Now, not only are Mercury and Pluto in Aquarius, they're also conjunct in Aquarius. So the same word that I just used, conjunct, meaning right at the same degree as the sun and moon are, that happens at every new moon. Mercury and Pluto are also at the same degree. So this has been building, this Mercury-Pluto energy has been building around the same time as the new moon was building. So the days, around the 25th, 26th of January, 27th, 28th building, that's around the same time that Mercury is starting to come in close configuration. And then came together, and then now they're starting to move apart, but it will be a few days before this influence releases. And it's the same thing with the new moon. So January 29th, the 30th, 31st, first days of February, this Pluto Mercury conjunction and this new moon will be in effect at the same time. So this is a life-changing celestial series of events that are definitely not to be underestimated. So Aquarius, this visionary side of innovation and progress, is urging us to think beyond the ordinary and to embrace originality and to set intentions that align with the highest aspirations. This new moon is giving you an invitation to imagine a brighter future and to take the first steps to making that a reality. So whether it's an individual set of wishes or intentions or actions, or whether it's lending it towards a group or world betterment, the power is there for all of it. So having this conjunction of Mercury and Pluto is giving us supercharged mental focus. So you may notice more mental clarity and depth and insight. You may feel this invitation of this combination to dig really deep and to uncover these hidden truths and to communicate with transformative power. Communication is ruled by Mercury. Transformation is ruled by Pluto. The combination of the two are epic. You may get very powerful news. You may be especially persuasive. You may create prolific, have prolific expression, or get to the heart of something, or have a conversation that changes your life. And in so many ways, this moon can change your life. And conversations and news and information that have great power or magnitude are some of the ways that that can happen. Another keyword associated with this combination of Pluto and Mercury happening at the same time as this new moon is the energy of breakthroughs. So a breakthrough idea. Gemini rules the world of ideas. It's an air sign. And so you may have an idea that could revolutionize your personal or professional life, or even revolutionize the world. The combination of these energies can elicit these honest, open, empowering conversations that can clear the air and or spark a collaboration. This energy can bring epic collaborations, and that may be the news and information that's coming in now. Now, just to give a little bit of context, we are still in a Mars retrograde, so there is some energy of going inward and backward, but Jupiter is about to wake up imminently, February 2nd to February 3rd, big gas giant Jupiter, which there's also an aspect with Jupiter, a series of aspects with Jupiter that we need to talk about that are flavoring this time, supercharging the alignments. But there is some energy to going inwards and backwards and going over past things, or having new results from the past, or doing something different, or experimenting. So you may find the energy of innovation and experimentation that is so strong with Aquarius, and the energy of experimentation that I've been, trying to educate about how there's an association with that experimentation with this Mars retrograde. You may find you're trying something on, that you're leaning into something to see how it feels, to see how it goes, and it could have very profound outcomes. Something else that can happen here, since Pluto rules the underworld and our inner world, is that the ability you may have to overcome these long-standing fears or mental blocks can be supercharged. So if you've had something that you're working with, something you're afraid of, something that you don't want to confront, something that's in the shadows, something that's hidden, this may be a time where everything lasts forward, or the seeds are planted to be able to do that, and you're working on the inner realms. A really great way to use this energy consciously. So remember that these are unconscious factors that are directing our lives. That's what planetary transits are. And the more we're aware of them and understand how they can manifest, that brings that unconsciousness into the conscious realm and fuels our conscious evolution as humans and as individuals. So when we actively align with the natural rhythms by using the potentials actively and consciously, then our manifestations can be, or experiences can be, supercharged, and they can go much further than they would if we weren't aware that this was happening. So if you didn't know anything about astrology and you were living your life, you will probably notice that something is happening at this time that is a big deal. But if you know that it's going on, you can have a more direct, conscious interaction and experience of the changes and the opportunities. And you may be able to take better opportunity to, or take better chance to use the opportunity because you understand what's happening. So a really great way to use this energy is to journal. Basically write down the things you've been discovering. And if you're not good with writing and you're not drawn to write, you can even on your phone in your notes section just make a list of, things that you've been working with, truths you've been avoiding. Have it be like a verbal voice to text journal. And I'm not trying to take away the power of the written word, because the power of the written word is something that is something to really behold. It has a power that is really ineffable. It's hard to put into words. But when you write down the words, you can have this power. However, the spoken word has just as much power, and in many ways more. So if you speak the intentions, speak the truths you've been discovering, have a raw, Pluto really rules rawness. Have a raw discussion with yourself about the truths you've been avoiding. And you can brainstorm either with yourself or with other people. Remember, this Aquarius energy and this Mercury energy is collaborative. Working with someone else to brainstorm can have so much extra power at this time. But in any case, just taking the time, think about, to look into and to record in some way the things that are going on for you now is a really great way to use this energy. You can also meditate and focus on the clarity and the insight and the collaboration and the networking and the community and the inner world, coming into illumination. And you can communicate intentionally. If you've needed to have a conversation with someone, you can have this very meaningful discussion that fosters growth, and do your best to get to a good place when you have this discussion to avoid any negative Plutonian outcomes. Pluto can be combustive. It can blow stuff up. It's nuclear energy. And so these conversations can be explosive. We have to look out for that. So the better you can get yourself in a good place before you have the communication, the more you can use this for profoundly positive experiences and try to skip the combustive part. So now in our list of supercharged alignments, we have more to look at. It's very exciting. Okay. Another really notable thing about this moon is its bigger picture. Okay, so moons will always have some kind of manifestation timeline of a couple of weeks in, the process of waning down to the new moon, and then of course the 28-day moon cycle of the waxing and waning, and then the 13 moon manifestation cycle. So things going on now could be coming from a few weeks or a month ago or a year ago, or could be building up for the next couple of weeks or month, or up to 13 moons from now. But there's also something else that's very, very epic that is really, really important to note. This degree that this new moon is at, 9 degrees of Aquarius, is in a 60-degree angle for the March 29th solar eclipse at 9 degrees of Aries that is going to finalize the 2-year cycle of the Aries-Libra eclipses that started in early 2023. So all of the lessons of this 2 years of cycle is actually being activated by this new moon through the form of a 60-degree angle of opportunities. So not only do we have the normal moon timelines, and this has been happening, I've talked about this with a couple of moons recently, and it's happening again, that this point at 9 degrees in the sky, it's, not easily visible, but it's there. And as these planets make these mathematical connections, this sacred geometrical connection with that point in the sky, that is to be the point that this eclipse occurs on, it's an activation force. So you may see something even on a grander scale that can be changing your life, having to do with your individuality, having to do with your relationships, having to do with your empowerment, having to do with your merging with others, and in moving into interdependence away from codependency and dependency and basically toxic relationships with yourself and others, and toxic ways of being and ways of not honoring yourself and your body. So all of these things can be getting pulled in to having noteworthy things happening at this time, and can offer you opportunities to take action along the lines of the storylines that have been in effect for these last 2 years that are culminating, within a couple of months. Very powerful stuff. So we've got a trine between the new moon and the trine between the sun with Jupiter. So it's a double, pretty much triple trine in a way, because the moon is trining Jupiter. It's only 2 degrees away there. That's close enough. The sun is trining Jupiter, which on its own is a very big deal, one of my favorite aspects. And the combination of the sun and the moon with the new moon coming together is also in a trine to Jupiter. So talk about expansive opportunities and, upliftment into new horizons. That's a crazy harmonious aspect. It's happening at the same time as all of this other stuff. Jupiter's the planet of growth, abundance. It encourages you to dream big and believe in your ability to succeed and have optimism. And as I said, Jupiter's getting ready to wake up. And even though he's not awake yet, and it may take some time for him to regain full steam, all month you will have noticed things starting to wake up, because Mercury retrograde was done. So one level of our retrograde was finished. And Jupiter, similar to, I like to call it, a sleeping giant. When you start to wake a sleeping giant, sometimes it takes a little bit of time for him to wake up, come to, and then start the process of getting up and moving around. But that waking up process is felt. And that's what we've been doing this month. And certainly by now, and with these aspects, Jupiter is getting awoken, getting ready to move direct. So what you might see happen from this: exciting opportunities in learning, in travel, in prolific expression. Mercury, big key here, rules Gemini, which is where Jupiter is. So, an influx of optimism can come, an influx of confidence can break through. You may feel more ready to pursue your goals. And even though we are still within this web of Mars retrograde, there's plenty that you can do. If it's your big life dream and you're doing your launch of your book that you've never done, you're never going to do again, you might want to wait for something really once in a lifetime that's super huge, that's been building forever, for when Mars is more awake. But many, many, many launches, many promos, like for instance, I have an epic promo now, which I'll get to later, but just to illustrate, kind of showing you what I'm doing aligned with this energy, is that offering an epic promo. Okay, so when you register for my Astrology Mastery Certification course, you will not only get all of the other courses in my school for free when you register just for this one, but you'll also get my new and never been offered before and only available through this promo, Celestial Mindscape series, which offers profound journeys into synchronicity and self-discovery and soul awakening. Okay, so this epic promo, which you can go to at this beastropro.com, beastropro.com, is an example of a type of launch or something that you can do at this time, because a promo is not going to last forever, right? And if the thing that you're doing is like that, okay, so I'm aligning, sharing my promo with you while at the same time educating you on how doing things like this is amazing at this time. And to help differentiate, for those of you who have the question, why, Annie, if you say don't launch things in retrogrades, are you launching this? And first of all, I never say don't launch things in retrogrades. I always say you can launch short-term things and you can experiment and you can activate promos. Okay, so this is a very big differentiation that you can use this time for. So if you have something you've already been offering and you want a short-term promo or an experiment or something that's meant to be short-term or adding to something that you're already doing, this new moon is epic for this. And the time building up to it is epic as well. So now, what else can you do? You can make a vision board. Okay, so one of the best things to do at a new moon time is to make a vision board, because you're planting seeds on how you want your life to be. Now, one of my famous quotes that I have always said, that I will continue to say, is that magic is just science yet to be discovered. In the past, before people discovered a lot of the principles of science and the universe and how things work, everything seemed like magic, right? But when you start to understand the science behind it, it's like, oh, maybe it still feels magical, right? But there's a reason for it. But magic is science that we haven't figured out the reason for yet. And one of the magical things that people think is some woo-woo, or as soon as, sometimes I've had people say, if I hear manifestation, the word manifestation, I'm out. And I'm like, wow, really? That's really shocking because manifestation is our co-creation using our anatomical creation mechanisms, are us just taking something from idea or feeling and putting it into form. And that happens every day. Life is manifestation. Life is the creation of something thought of or felt before, and then it comes out, right? So manifesting or setting intentions or making a vision board, mapping out your grandest dreams or something small, a small project. But you've got a lot of power for bigness at this time because Aquarius energy rules your big lifetime dreams, like the ones that you may not even want to tell anyone, they're so big. And Jupiter rules the expansive viewpoint that you can see, like looking from the top of a mountain and looking at everything below, like a bird's eye view. Something else that you may see from Jupiter in the beautiful trines, as we discussed here, is this serendipitous, a series of serendipitous encounters. So serendipity is where something perfect just comes to be at the exact perfect time. And this energy is supercharged right now. So lucky breaks, Jupiter also rules luck, things that seem too good to be true, and just pure synchronicity and serendipity. So you may see that manifest. Maybe time to stretch yourself a little bit. This may be how you use this energy. Now, you don't want to overstretch yourself because we still have Mars in retrograde and we have to work with that energy. But there is something budding here, and it may be time to go out on a limb, especially if there's a safety net below it, like a calculated risk, an experiment, something like that is very, very appropriate right now. All right, so now add to all of these supercharged alignments and talking about the ways that this moon can change your life is another series of energy here with Chiron. So at the same time as all of this is going on, we also have an imminent trine with the moon and Chiron. Okay, so now I'm going to have to explain this because if you're looking at the visual, which I have on YouTube, syndicated podcast friends, you won't have the visual for this, but I'll explain it the best way that it can. So at the moment of the new moon, which is basically at 7:36 a.m. Eastern time, the moon is at 9 degrees, but the moon travels very quickly. So by the next day, the moon is going to be all the way, and actually later this day into the 30th, the moon will be at 19 degrees of Aquarius, which will then make a 60-degree angle with Chiron. And then it will blow through the rest of Aquarius, make a trine with Eris, and make a trine with Hygeia. So there's this sequence within 48 hours of the moon making a series of 60-degree angles, which are angles of opportunity, with Chiron, Eris, and Hygeia. Okay, so let's take this piece by piece. When the moon makes this trine with Chiron, you may see a newfound sense of confidence and courage to face fears and your wounds. Chiron is your wound, okay? Your deepest wound or wounds. And when the moon makes a nice angle here in this air and fire energy, it can give you inspiration and emotional breakthroughs that allow you to let go of the past and allow you not only to let go of the past, but also to let the past bring you goodness now. Okay, so you may see within this new moon time, these blessings come in through acts of courage, the emergence of creative solutions to personal challenges, the clearing up of repressed negative energy here from Eris, and then profound physical and mental healing from the combination with Hygeia. Some other ways that you can use these energies, all of the ones we're talking about, is through self-reflection. So, acknowledging, in this case with the moon and Chiron, acknowledging your past wounds and how they've shaped you and any positive things that may have come from it, or any ways that it could have been worse and wasn't, and so there was grace. You can also use affirmations by repeating empowering statements that will enforce these self-beliefs. I have talked at length over time, and I will continue to talk about the reticular activating system, this mechanism of the brain that filters things out so that we don't go absolutely nuts in the presence of all that is. Okay? So when you say affirmations, some people think, again, that this is woo-woo, that this is metaphysical, and then they just step away. But don't do it, because this is a physiological opportunity that we have by using our brain to help us create and co-create with our environment, with life. Because when we let that activating system know, that reticular activating system know we're looking for something, it will stop filtering out things that will help us get that. Okay, I always use the example of, let's say you need something like flooring, okay, something practical. When you're starting to look for flooring, do you notice how all of a sudden there are all these flooring stores in your area? And you're like, where the heck did they come from? They didn't just all open. But that's because you let your reticular activating system know you're looking for this. So it stopped filtering them out. It was filtering them out because you didn't need flooring. But now they're all there because you need flooring and you've let it know. So it's the same thing with obvious things like this, or subtle messages, because we are interconnected and everything is information. These planets, they're transmitting information. All of this is information that we can attune to and that we can receive. And when we let our filtering system know, hey, we want to receive the messages of the universe, it's there. It's there to be experienced. And so we can actively work with that. Okay, so there's one other angle to discuss here, and this has to do with an inconjunct with the moon and Mars. Okay, so as the moon travels, as I said, into today and into tomorrow, well, today being the 29th, and the 30th being, the time frame where this is strongest, the moon's going to make what's called an inconjunct with Mars. And this is a little bit of an awkward angle. It's the only one of the ones we talked to that has awkwardness to it. But what it can give you is emotional motivation. Okay, so Mars in Cancer is definitely lending itself to emotional intensity, as we have seen since it's been there since September of last year. So the intensity and the drive of Mars in this emotional Cancer, in this connection with the new moon, can give you the courage to act on your deepest desires and help you push through the fears and the stagnation that may be hindering. It can also give you a surge of determination to protect and to nurture what matters most, and clarity about what that is. It also will give you strong instincts, very, very strong instincts that may guide you towards the right choices. And, it will be heightened emotional energy for better or worse, but the best way you can use this is to channel energy. Basically, engage in physical activity, engage in creative projects to release these pent up emotions, because the moon represents emotion and Mars represents action. So, you may need to release this energy in order to feel better. You may need to set emotional boundaries. You may need to trust your intuition and trust your gut. Some things to look out for here could be emotional outbursts and, overprotectiveness or overreactivity. So, but we've got a lot of other sweet things going on here, and so many more I could talk about. Venus and Neptune also coming together, making dreamy, romantic, idealistic energy, as part of this, making it great for personal, private pursuits or close communion with others that are special to you. So, quick summary: embracing the Aquarius energy is thinking outside of the box, embracing your individuality, trusting in the power of community, and important things to note: stay grounded, nurturing your connections with others and the earth at this time, and releasing what no longer serves you. Asking your reticular activating system to attune you to the messages of the universe that are being transmitted, beamed by the starlight to us, and acting in co-creation with these supercharged alignments to positively change your life. Now, back to my promo, and then I want to give you ways to connect with my other free work, because I have a ton of it and I'm a very prolific expresser. So I will give you, direction on how you can find more resources that are free by me. But this epic promo that never been offered before, only available through this promo, Celestial Mindscape series. These are powerful, profound journeys into synchronicity and self-discovery and soul awakening. This is yours with your enrollment in my Astrology Mastery Certification course. If you've wanted to learn astrology and you love how I teach, fantastic. If you want to learn for yourself, just to help yourself and your family and your friends, this course is perfect. If you want to have confidence, become certified, and earn money by using astrology, basically, I can teach you how to do that. I do this well, and I can teach you how. Plus, you get all of the other courses in my whole school for free when you register for this one. So that's it. All in all, I think it's about maybe $1,500 in free courses when you register for this one. So go to beastropro, beastropro.com. If you have any trouble with that link, go to anniehelpsyou.com and then scroll down and click on Learn Astrology, and then you can get to the astrology certification course that way. So now, if you want to get all of my content early and free VIP access to my Eclipse resource page, my retrograde resource page, my zodiac health tips, my 28-day virtual coaching program, my monthly written star report with my sweet and salty dates, and so much more, then put your name and address or name and email address in at this site, anniehelpsyou.com. That is my main site. Click receive and you'll get the welcome letter into your inbox with archives that you can access, whatever I've recently sent. I always send things out early, and you'll get all of my content earlier than I make it public. I hope this moon is magical for you. Stay tuned. I've been posting at least weekly and then some. I do have new weekly reports. So if you're listening on Spotify or anywhere else, just scroll back in the history to see what I've recently posted and look for my monthly reports for each sign. Look for my new moon and full moon and weekly reports. And I hope you have a wonderful moon. I'll see you in the next report. Bye.